Greetings and salutations, my dearest friends. My name is Samantha, and today's video is all fall themed, where I have some awesome recommendations based on Halloween movies and fall TV shows. Hello, how are you? I am so excited to be filming this video today because it's kind of like one of those videos where if you like this thing, then I have a book to recommend to you. And today's theme is going to be all surrounded on Halloween movies and fall themed TV shows. Essentially, I picked some cult classic Halloween movies and TV shows like Practical Magic and Twitches, and thought of books that I think are very similar to those. And if you like those movies, I think you will really like some of the books that I'm going to recommend to you. So for each recommendation, I will have a Halloween or fall themed movie or TV show to kind of pair with it. Hopefully that's making sense, or it will start to make sense once I get on with the recommendation. I absolutely love the fall and winter time. It is my favorite time of the year, and it definitely influences my TBR. I know a lot of people love Halloween movies and have fall traditions of rewatching popular cult classic shows like Gilmore Girls. I thought it would be fun to kind of pick those different forms of media that are fall themed and pair them with a really cozy or spooky book. I had a lot of fun picking these books for the video, so if you would like to see a themed video like this again in the future, let me know what movie or TV show or even like musical that you would want a recommendation for, and I would love to do a part 2. Right now, let's go ahead and hop into those recommendations. So the first movie that I have a recommendation for is actually what really inspired this video. I thought about these two forms of media and how similar they are, and it really just sparked this whole creative idea. If you like movies like Practical Magic that are filled with witches and magic and cozy fall vibes, I think you will absolutely love the remaking of Corbin Whale by Roan Parrish. This is one of my favorite books of all time. I absolutely love it, and I feel like it is criminally underrated. I literally have tabs all over this book because it is so incredibly romantic and lyrical, and is definitely giving practical magic vibes. I think the author themselves have even said that that's definitely what it was inspired by. The remaking of Corbin Whale by Roan Parrish is a male-male contemporary romance that has magical realism vibes throughout the entire book. It starts off by following our hero Alex, who is in a place in his life where he is just not happy. He recently went through a breakup, and he's not necessarily sad about the breakup, but he's more so realizing that he was not even in love with the person that he was with. He's not happy with where he's living or where he's working, so he decides to quit his job and move back to his hometown in Michigan. Our hero Alex has always had a dream of opening up his own bakery, and that's exactly what he does, and that is how he meets our hero Corbin Whale. Corbin Whale is one of those characters that is definitely misunderstood by the entire town. They think he's a little strange, a little weird, a little different, and he's never really fit in. But when our hero Alex meets him for the first time, they instantly connect and kind of like see the magic within each other. Corbin Whale ends up working at Alex's bakery, and it just follows their very slow burn, sweet romance. It's magical, it's romantic, it is everything that you would want in a romance book. It really is such a cozy book, not just because of the sweet romance or the magical realism vibes, also just the author's writing style and the descriptions of like the food that they're baking and the town that they live in. The type of book where you can like imagine everything that's happening so vividly, and it's absolutely stunning. Highly recommend. So good. By the way, most of my recommendations are more cozy themed Halloween recommendations. I have mentioned this a few times on my channel, and if you know me personally, you already know, but I have seen and been exposed to so much paranormal activity in my life that I try to stay away from it when it comes to forms of media. So I like things that are giving me the fall, maybe a little bit spooky ooky vibes, but nothing actually scary. So if you were in this video looking for like very scary, gory recommendations, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I do love all of the books I'm talking about. Anyways, so the next movie I wanted to talk about is a classic and a part of my fall tradition. I rewatch it every single year, and that is the Disney original Twitches. I grew up on Twitches. I love it so much. So if you also love this movie, then I think you would love Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. So Twitches basically follows two characters who are twins. They were separated at birth. This movie, our characters realize that they have a twin that they never knew about, and they also have magic that they never knew about, which is very reminiscent and similar to Middle Game by Seanan McGuire. This is another book that I have a ton of tabs on because I love it so much and the writing style is so good. This book is incredibly unique and almost difficult for me to kind of like explain the plot, but I'm going to try my best. It follows our two characters, Roger and Dodger, who are twins that were separated at birth. Throughout their life, and because of their unique abilities, they are still kind of connected without even realizing it, been able to view each other's lives and communicate in a way that nobody would even think possible. Then you have our character Reed, who is an alchemist and basically created them on his mad journey to godhood. Twins are incredibly powerful in their own way. It was what they were raised to be. Dodger is incredibly talented when it comes to numbers and the power of math, and then our hero Roger is incredibly powerful when it comes to different languages and the power of story. Two of them paired together have the ability to do the absolute impossible, and our character Reed intends to kind of follow them on this grand journey of power and godhood. He's a little bit like a mad scientist, if you will. Synopsis describes it as Roger and Dodger aren't exactly human, though they don't realize it. They aren't exactly gods either, not entirely, not yet. Writing style and the setting of this very powerful society and all of these incredibly flawed characters in the book are just so fascinating. It's such a great read. I would describe this as an adult fantasy leaning more towards sci-fi, so it's a little bit more darker than like Twitches, but so good. Would not be a fall video if I wasn't talking about vampires. If you didn't know, I am vampire obsessed. I've been obsessed with vampiric lore ever since I was in junior high and read Dracula for the very first time. So if you are someone who likes the movie The Brides of Dracula, then you will absolutely love A Dowry of Blood by S.T. Gibson. This book is everything to me. It is absolutely one of my top 5 favorite books of all time. I think it's so incredibly stunning. It is basically a take on Dracula's Brides, and it follows our heroine Lady Constanza, who is essentially known as Dracula's first consort. The story is almost told in letters as you are following her journey with Dracula, her being turned into a vampire, her falling in love with him acquiring different consorts and brides, and her relationships with them as well. This book is a book that kind of like transcends genres because there are moments when it is incredibly romantic, but also incredibly horrifying and gory and sad, and it's just a little bit of everything really. It's a dark gothic story told by our heroine's point of view of her experiences and her journey of being married to Dracula, and it is so good, so addicting. I've read other S.T. Gibson books and other vampire books, and nothing has topped the vibes that this book gives. I love it. Speaking of Dracula, if you like any adaptation or version of Dracula, there have been many, and I think you should read the vampire book that actually predates Dracula, and that is Carmilla. I talk about classics a lot on my channel, but Carmilla is one of those books that just lives rent-free in my head, and it took me forever to actually read it as well. This is a classic, okay? It is a book that predates Dracula and has inspired so much vampire literature and how vampires are viewed in media overall. And over time, it has also become a staple in queer culture and literature as well. Carmilla is a sapphic icon. What can I say? She's a sapphic icon. But let me tell you the actual plot. It starts off by following our heroine Laura, who lives in a secluded and isolated mansion with her family, and all she really sees is her father and the staff that works for her family. First introduced to Laura, you can absolutely tell that she has been exposed to different paranormal creatures in her life, especially when she was younger. She doesn't really know that or have a way to explain what happened, but you know it was vampires. Story really picks up when there is a carriage accident outside of our heroine's mansion. She goes out to see what had happened, and she realizes that there was a carriage accident. There's no other houses for miles, and there is a young woman who had been badly injured. They invite this woman to stay with them so that she can rest, and what they don't realize is they are literally inviting a monster into their home. Carmilla is a vampire. I don't want to be a broken record, but this is another one that I think transcends genres in the sense that it can be incredibly romantic, but also very horrifying and gory and dark and all of the things. I really love this edition because it is illustrated. Let me see if I can find one of the illustrations. Absolutely stunning. I love it so freaking much. So if you have not read Carmilla, read it. It doesn't even feel like a classic. It actually feels so incredibly modern, and I love it. The next movie is another Disney cult classic that I rewatch every year, and that is Hocus Pocus. For someone who likes Hocus Pocus because of the Sanderson sisters, and you love that sisterly bond over magic, then you will absolutely love These Witches Don't Burn by Isabel Sterling. The book follows our heroine Hannah, who is an elemental witch, so like water, earth, fire. Not only is she a witch, but she also lives in Salem, Massachusetts. Very well known for their witch trials. They're good witches though, okay? They're just living their regular lives and trying to protect and keep their magic a secret. However, things in the town get very complicated when our heroine ends up discovering that someone in the town is participating in blood magic, which is like the darkest, most forbidden magic that you can ever perform. So her and her ex-girlfriend end up working together to protect their coven and also figuring out who is doing this dark magic. This is a YA fantasy and does have a small romance. Our heroine is kind of having a crush with a new girl that moved into town. However, she is still balancing these very complicated emotions with having to work so closely with her ex-girlfriend. Just a warning though, this one does end on a little bit of a cliffhanger that leads into the second book. Despite it being a YA book, I still really enjoy it and think Isabel Sterling is absolutely fantastic. Okay, my next recommendation is if you like the movie Ghost, then I think you will absolutely love the book Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thompson. This is another YA fantasy book. This book follows our main character Yadriel, who is a trans teenager living with a family that doesn't quite understand what that means. His family comes from a long line of magic, and he is trying to prove to them that he has the ability to be a brujo like the rest of the men in his family. At the beginning of the book, his cousin ends up getting murdered, and he really wants a chance to prove that he can help. So he ends up doing a ritual to find out what happened. However, he ends up summoning a ghost, and the ghost is someone he recognized. It's a cute boy from his school that he had a crush on. Our other hero, Julian, has obviously been hurt by someone who is participating in dark magic, so our characters are kind of working together to discover what's going on. It also follows their romance. So cute, so fun. Absolutely love the vibes of this book. Definitely gives ghost vibes, if that makes sense, because our hero is a literal ghost. Okay, so those are all of the movies that I have book recommendations for, but I have 2 TV shows that very much have like fall autumnal vibes that I also have recommendations for. So first up is Gilmore Girls. That is a favorite amongst many people. I'm gonna be honest, I haven't like fully watched that show ever. I'm not a TV show person personally, like at all. It's very rare that I will ever finish a series. I've seen all the clips and I've done like the Warner Brothers tour of the backlots that filmed Gilmore Girls and all this stuff, so I understand the vibes. So if you're someone who loves the small town cozy vibes of Gilmore Girls, then I highly recommend the Love Light series by B.K. Borison. This is a contemporary small town romance series. There are 4 books in total. Each book follows a different couple during a different season. They technically can be read as standalones, but they are much better if they're read together. I'm not even someone who loves contemporary romance that much, but I love this series. In fact, I'm so obsessed with it. I have 3 tattoos for 3 of the books in this series. It's one of my favorites, obviously, and I think even the author has said that she loves Gilmore Girls and pulled a lot of inspiration from that show for this small town. I have a reading vlog of this entire series if you want to see me reading it, but I'll kind of like breeze through the first book and then the tropes for the rest of the books in the series. The series starts off with Love Light Farms, which is obviously set during Christmas. It follows our characters Luca and Stella, and this is a friends to lovers romance. Stella owns a Christmas tree farm. She is struggling a little bit to keep the business afloat as far as finances go, so she ends up entering into a competition. It's a social media competition that has a cash prize, but the person hosting the competition absolutely loves romance, so in her application Stella puts that she is running the business with her boyfriend, and that is where our hero Luca comes in. Stella and Luca have been best friends for almost 10 years and have been hopelessly in love with each other, but never wanted to ruin their friendship. However, they end up fake dating for this competition, and it follows their romance. It's sexy, it's sweet, it's cozy, everything you would ever need in a romance book. Second book, if I had to pick, is probably my favorite in the series, but that's really difficult to pick because I love all of them. They're all 5 stars. But it is an angsty second chance romance between Beckett and Evelyn. This one takes place during the springtime. Then the third book is Mixed Signals. It is a romance between our characters Layla and Caleb. This one is a really sweet romance that has a friends with benefits trope to it, and it takes place during the summertime. And the last book in the series is Business Casual. It's a romance between Nova and Charlie. It takes place during the fall time, and it is a grumpy sunshine pairing where our heroine is the grumpy one. The series is cozy and perfect, and if you are someone who constantly rewatches Gilmore Girls, I feel like you will absolutely love This Small Town. My last recommendation is for people who are fans of the show The Ghost Whisperer. If you like that show, I think you will absolutely love If Walls Could Talk by Juliet Blackwell, and that is a cozy mystery. I've said it so many times, I feel like people need to get more into cozy mysteries. They are literally the best thing ever. They're as if the mystery thriller genre and Hallmark movies had a baby, made something fun and cozy, but you're still getting that mystery aspect to it. So this one follows our heroine, who is really making a name for herself for restoring old houses. She ends up getting a contract to restore a Victorian house in San Francisco and the Bay Area. When she gets there, though, she ends up finding a dead body. Bum, bum, bum. It's get even more complicated because the agency still wants her to redecorate it so they can resell the house. However, our heroine has a secret, and that is that she can see and talk to ghosts. So she can still see the previous owner of the house. He was brutally murdered but has absolutely no recollection of what happened to him. So he is desperately trying to get our heroine to help him find justice. And the two of them work together to solve the mystery and see who committed this murder. This one also has a very small romance subplot. Our heroine just recently went through a divorce, and she's in a place in her life where she's finding herself again, finding what makes her happy and passionate and sexy. And I just absolutely love reading about her. This one is a good one if you're trying to get into cozy mysteries in general, but also if you like the TV show The Ghost Whisperer. Alright, that is the end of this video. This video was very chaotic. I don't know if you've noticed, but I had to stop filming about 12,000 times. My camera died, my light died, my family was being very, very loud in the background. There was music, someone washing their car, and TV shows. Garage at one point. I lived by an airport and could hear the planes. It was a lot, but I cannot even make this up. I had to switch out my SD card because it was full. I've been talking so long that it was full. Okay, that is the signal that I need to end this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you enjoyed this video, leave me a comment, please, because it took me forever to film, apparently. If you enjoyed this video, I think there's like a film camera emoji. Leave that in the comments since we talked about some iconic movies and TV shows in this video. Leave that like film camera emoji down below so I know that you enjoyed this video and we're bookish besties. I hope you guys are enjoying the fall season and all of the cozy reads. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to spend time with me. It means the world to me. I hope you guys are all staying happy and healthy, and I will see you in my next video. Bye!